Dear students, this first paper is of plant physiology, and this paper contains 4 units. That is, first one is diffusion, osmosis, absorption, transport of water and transpiration, physiology of opening and closing of stomata, factors affecting transportation, translocation of organic solute transport. And the unit second consists of essential micro and macro elements, their role and deficiency symptoms. And the third unit is historical background, photosynthetic pigments, concept of two photosystems, Z scheme, phosphorylation, Calvin cycle, C3 plant and C4 plants, CAM plants, photorespiration. And the unit fourth consists of respiration, historical aspect, aerobic and anaerobic respiration, RQ, fermentation, decarboxylation of pyruvic acid, glycolysis, alternate oxidase system, Krebs cycle, and this Krebs cycle, and this electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation. So, I will teach firstly the third unit, that is the photosynthesis. The photosynthesis, as you know, the word. Now start with the topic photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is defined as the formation of organic food, that is in the form of carbohydrate, by green plants in presence of light with the help of carbon dioxide and water molecule with the release of oxygen. But this scientifically, or this definition is changed, and it is the transformation of photonic energy, that is the radiant energy, into chemical energy by green parts of the plant. The question is that who is responsible for the absorption of this light energy in green plants? There are so many photosynthetic pigments which are responsible for the absorption of light quanta, and they absorb light energy or the solar energy from the system. And these photosynthetic pigments are the chlorophylls, carotenoids and phycobilins. Chlorophyll molecules are of different types, that is chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, chlorophyll D and chlorophyll E. But all chlorophyll molecules are water insoluble, and their absorption maxima ranges from 430 nm to 630 nm. Ranges from 430 nm to 630 nm. And carotenoids, it is also water insoluble pigment. Its absorption maxima varies from 485 to 490 nm. And phycobilins, that is water soluble pigments, which is mainly found in red alga and blue green alga. Its absorption maxima varies from 546 nm to 576 nm and 618 nm. These chlorophyll molecules, they are especially responsible for the absorption of light quanta, whereas the carotenoids and phycobilins are the accessory pigments. There are two types of carotenoids, that is carotene and xanthophyll, and there are two types of phycobilins, that is phycocyanin and phycoerythrin. The chlorophyll A molecule, which is the universal pigment and found in all green plants, having the empirical formula C55H72O5N4Mg, and it is a porphyrin system containing tetrapyrrole ring, and the center of this tetrapyrrole ring is occupied by divalent magnesium ion. The porphyrin skeleton bears an alcohol with 20 carbon atoms, the phytol chain. This is the basic structure of chlorophyll A molecule. And the chlorophyll B molecule has the empirical formula, that is C55H70O6N4Mg, and this absorbs the light energy of about 640 to 650 nm. The structure of chlorophyll B is same as chlorophyll A molecule, except that chlorophyll A has methyl group on ring 2, while B has an aldehyde group. And this chlorophyll B is restricted to some class of algae and some herb plants, but it is found in all, it is found in higher plants and some class of algae. And the question is that, and these photosynthetic pigments, where they are present? They are present in the chloroplast. This is the chloroplast is the basic structure where is an organelle which is present in all green plants in a eukaryotic system. And in prokaryotic system, this chloroplast is not present. There is the lamellae which is responsible for the photosynthetic process. This chloroplast is double membrane structure, membrane bound structure, where the granum is present, and granum is formed by the stacks of lamellae, and the granums are interconnected through stroma lamellae, and the ground substance of this chloroplast is stroma, and some starch granules are present. This is a double membrane, that is the outer membrane and inner membrane, and this chloroplast has its own DNA content, which that's why it is called semi-autonomous body, because it has capacity to divide itself. And this is the basic structure or the organelle which is responsible for the process of photosynthesis. The next question is, the process of photosynthesis is divided into two phases, that is light dependent phase and light independent phase. Light dependent phase is the process or the steps for which the light is necessary, or we can say that in absence of light these steps cannot occur, whereas the light independent phase where the presence of light is not necessary. Then this is the question, which what process or what steps takes place during light dependent phase and what steps occur during light independent phase. In very simple words, or you can say that the process of photosynthesis, where the basic concept of this process is that in this process the atmospheric carbon dioxide is fixes or assimilate into the carbohydrate in green plants. But this process is very simple in saying, but behind this there are several steps which are very complicated, and for some steps light is necessary, and for some steps the light is not necessary. Now we come to that light dependent phase, or the processes or the steps for light is necessary. In light dependent phase, the first step is that absorption of light quanta. The light quanta is absorbed by the photosynthetic pigments, and the next step is that migration of these light quanta to the reaction center, and the third step is that formation of energy power, that is ATP, and fourth step is the formation of reducing power, that is NADPH2, that is both ATP and NADPH2 is used for the fixation of CO2 during light independent phase. And the fifth step is that photolysis of water molecule, or you can say that is the dehydrogenation of water molecule. In light independent phase, the fixation of free atmospheric carbon dioxide takes place, and this carbon dioxide is fixed into the form of carbohydrate in plants. The question is that firstly, all the molecules of this photosynthetic pigments absorbs light quanta, and then this light energy is migrate to the reaction center. Now we come to the first point of light dependent phase, that is the absorption of light quanta. The rate of photosynthesis also depends on the quality as well as the intensity of light. There are different wavelengths of light is present in solar light, and they are categorized into three parts. That is UV light, PAR, that is photosynthetic active radiation. Third one is infrared light. The photosynthetic active radiation, which is known as the visible light, in this part of solar energy, the rate of the process of photosynthesis takes place, and it ranges from 4000 Armstrong to 7000 Armstrong. The light below the wavelength of 4000 Armstrong is known as the ultraviolet radiations, and it has low wavelength of light, and it is as we know that it is very injurious for health, because it has low wavelength, and as we know that the relation between wavelength and energy is inversely. As the wavelength decreases, the energy increases. So the wavelength of UV light is very low, hence its energy is high, and it has capacity to penetrate the skin and damages the DNA and causes cancer. And the third part of light, that is infrared light, and it has wavelength above the 7000 Armstrong. And this part, that is the photosynthetic active radiation or the visible light, has 7 colors. That is, it is also known as the VIBGYOR, that is V for violet, R for indigo, B for blue, G for green, Y for yellow, O for orange, R for red. All these lights have different wavelengths. And the question is that among all these 7 colors, in which color the rate of photosynthesis is maximum? The rate of photosynthesis is maximum in blue and red light, whereas in green light there is no photosynthesis or very less amount of photosynthesis occurs. The question is that why there is no photosynthesis takes place in green light. As we know, the chlorophyll is green in color. As it is green in color, that means it never absorbs the light of green. It never absorbs the green color light. When it do not absorb the green color of light, the rate of the process of photosynthesis doesn't occur, and so this green light is not profitable, or we can say is not helpful for the process of photosynthesis. Now the second step is that, and when all the chlorophyll molecules, carotenoids and phycobilins absorbs this light quanta, then they migrate this light quanta to the reaction center, and where different types of there are 2 types of photosystem where the reaction centers are present, and these photosystems are interconnected through electron transport chain. Now we come to the next picture. Now we come to the picture of electron transport system, that is also known as a Z scheme. Here is the scale of redox potential that is present in the form present in the electron volts, and this is the 2 photosystem, that is the photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. The photosystem 1 is also known as P700 and the photosystem 2 is known as P680. Both the systems are interconnected through different electron transport carriers, that is pheophytin, quinine, plastoquinone, cytochrome F and plastocyanine. And as we know that in chlorophyll, in PS1, the chlorophyll A molecule is more in comparison to P680, where in P680 the chlorophyll B molecule is more in comparison to P700. After absorbing, you know that there is so many photosynthetic pigments, they absorb the light quanta, and after absorbing light quanta, they migrate these light quanta to the reaction center. After absorbing these light quanta, this system becomes excited and reduce, and when they excited, they releases their energy in the form of electron, which goes to the excited state of this system, and sometimes it comes back to through different carriers to this P700 again, and from when they come back, they releases some of its energy, which is used by the ADP and inorganic phosphate for the formation of ATP. Here the formation of ATP takes place. The formation of ATP is also known as the phosphorylation. When this ATP formation takes place during the process of photosynthesis, then it is known as photophosphorylation. But this type of ATP formation, when the electrons release from this P700 and come back to again this system, and during its path it forms ATP. This is known as the cyclic photophosphorylation. This type of ATP formation during this path is known as the cyclic photophosphorylation. After release of its electron, this system becomes oxidized, and for its reduction, the electrons comes from this P680, and P680 here also absorbs light quanta. Here the photosynthetic pigment present, they absorbs light quanta, and they again migrate the energy to this reaction center, and here this center this P680 again becomes excited, and it releases its energy in the form of electron, which goes to this P700 by different electron carriers, and during its path it also releases some of its energy, which is used by the ATP and inorganic phosphate for the formation of ATP, and this type of ATP formation is known as the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. And the third step occurs here is the photolysis of water molecule, that is breakdown of water molecule in presence of light. And here you know that is the two water molecule breakdowns, and one oxygen molecule releases and 4 hydrogen ion, and this electron also releases, and this hydrogen ion and electron moves from this P680 through P680 through different carriers to P700, and then this P700 excited state, and through different carrier it reaches to the ferredoxin, and from ferredoxin they combines with this 2-NADP, and this NADP is reduced to NADPH2, and here the formation of reducing power takes place. The question is that if the photosystem 2 is inhibited, whether the chlorophyll, what happens, or what is the product form, because as we know that is that there is formation of energy power ATP, and reducing power and oxygen evolution takes place during this light dependent phase. But when this PS2 is inhibited, the product form is only ATP molecules. The NADPH2 is, that is the reducing power, is never formed, because this NADP is reduced by the hydrogen ion, which is formed by the release of photolysis of water molecule. When this system is inhibited, and this hydrogen ion cannot move from this system to this, and lastly reaches to this, and so this is not formed. When this P700 is only operated, there is formation of only ATP molecule. And this is all about this electron transport system. And one question is also that the energy always moves from this P680, or the electron always moves from this P680 to P700, and never from this P700 to P680. The reason behind is that the P700 absorbs the light quanta of 700 nm, and P680 absorbs the light quanta of P6 that is 680 nm, and as the wavelength increases, the energy decreases. So the energy of this, and this you know that is the chlorophyll, this is the P700. As the wavelength is higher, it has lower energy, and this chlorophyll, this P680 has lower the wavelength and have a higher energy. Energy always moves from higher potential to lower potential, so the electron always moves from P680 to P700, and never from P700 to P680. Next is that the difference between the photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. And this is the difference between two photosystem 1 and 2. Photosystem 1 has more chlorophyll molecules, that is 200 to 450 carotenoid, one molecule of reaction center, and P700, and plastocyanin, cytochrome F, and 2 molecules of ferredoxin. That is whereas the photosystem 2 has this 200 chlorophyll molecules, 50 carotenoid, one molecule of reaction center, P680, unknown substance Z, manganese, chlorine, quinine, plastoquinone, cytochrome B6, cytochrome F, and plastocyanin. And this is the number of chlorophyll B is less in photosystem 1, whereas the chlorophyll B molecule is more in photosystem 2. And the photosystem 1 reaction center is P700, whereas the reaction center of photosystem 2 is P673. And this is photosystem 1 is located in the inner surface of the thylakoid membrane, whereas photosystem 2 is located on the outer surface of thylakoid membrane. In photosystem 1, oxygen is not evolved, whereas photosystem 2, oxygen is evolved, and photosystem 1 has NADPH2 is formed here, whereas in photosystem 2, no NADPH2 formed, and this photosystem 1 participates only cyclic, participates in both cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation, whereas the photosystem 2 participates only in non-cyclic photophosphorylation. And the The next difference is that when chloroplast molecules ultracentrifuges, the photosystem 1 is the lighter part and comes up, whereas the photosystem 2 is the heavier part and settles down. And as far as the light is concerned, the photosystem 1 is active under both red and far red light, and photosystem is active only in far red light. This is all about the difference between the photosystem 1 and 2. And in next class we will deal with non-cyclic, cyclic photophosphorylation, so it is and Emerson enhancement effect, red drop effect, photooxidation of water, and the ATP. This is about the energy conservation or energy needed for the for the assimilation of one molecule of CO2 fixation. The process of formation of ATP is known as the phosphorylation, and the process of ATP formation during the photosynthesis is known as photophosphorylation. In photophosphorylation, there are two types of phosphorylation: cyclic photophosphorylation and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. And both types of cyclic and non-cyclic phosphorylation occurs during electron transport chain. The basic difference between the cyclic phosphorylation and non-cyclic phosphorylation is shown in this slide. The first difference between cyclic photophosphorylation and non-cyclic phosphorylation is that in cyclic phosphorylation only photosystem 1 participate, whereas in non-cyclic photophosphorylation both PS1 and PS2 participates. And the second difference is that in cyclic photophosphorylation the system works like a closed loop, and the electrons emitted from the reaction center back to its original place, whereas in non-cyclic phosphorylation it requires free electron donor H2O acts as the source of free electron. Here NADP is the final electron acceptor, and electrons emitted from the reaction center does not come back to its original place. The third difference is that in cyclic phosphorylation NADP is not reduced, so the rate of CO2 assimilation is reduced, whereas in case of non-cyclic phosphorylation NADP is reduced to NADPS2, which is utilized in CO2 assimilation. And the next difference is that in cyclic phosphorylation there is no evolution of oxygen and photolysis of water. No evolution of oxygen takes place, whereas in non-cyclic phosphorylation oxygen evolution takes place. And the last difference between cyclic phosphorylation and non-cyclic phosphorylation is that in cyclic phosphorylation the transfer of electrons is from PS1 to X to FRS to FD, cytochrome B6, plastoquinone, cytochrome C, plastocyanin, and then lastly to PS1, whereas in non-cyclic phosphorylation the transfer of electron is from PS2 to quinone, cytochrome B6, plastoquinone, cytochrome F, plastocyanin, and PS1, then from PS1 to X unknown complex, and then FRS, and then pyridoxine reductase, and then from pyridoxine reductase to NADP, and lastly NADPS2 is formed. And this is the difference between cyclic phosphorylation and non-cyclic phosphorylation. And in next class